And we're going to bring in a special guest here before we do our normal show. So he is joining us from, I believe, outside of Arlington, Texas. We're going to bring on Buckeye great, Mr. Steele Chambers. Steele, thanks for joining us.
Oh, glad to be here, man. Sorry for my little amateur production. I'm currently in a hotel room on my phone, so I'm sorry for that.
No, you sound great. Room looks good. So, Steele, before we get into Ohio State stuff, why don't you tell everybody what's going on in your life, what you're up to?
Yeah, so Steele Chambers, currently in camp for UFL season right now with the Louisville Kings, and then part-time co-host for the Bobby Carpenter Show, another show out of Columbus, Ohio. Doing that, and then also working just to be like a possible analyst broadcaster in the future. Just signed up for the Big Ten experience, I believe, like in later June over in Chicago. So just hoping to get that part of my career set up, and then if the NFL is still an option, do that, of course.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Steele, you know, I think a lot of people know you from your time with the Buckeyes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it about 2019 to 2023 in that?
Spot on.
Very good. Very good. And obviously you had a unique experience at Ohio State playing on both sides of the ball. And you started as a running back, you finished as a linebacker. Before we get into all of that, what brought you to Columbus, Ohio, being a outside of Atlanta, Georgia kid?
I would say probably the people. I had a really good connection with Urban Meyer, who was the head coach right before I got there. So really good connection with him. Tony Alford, who was the running back coach at the time, he sadly went over to the dark side at Michigan now, but still a fantastic running back coach. Had a solid relationship with him. I met my roommates, Tommy and Cade, on one of my official visits. So loved them right off the bat. So I would just say the people that I met while I was over there really got me to go over to Ohio.
Very good. Greg, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, so it's interesting you mentioned Tony Alford too, because I'm here in Dublin, Ohio. So his kid actually played football here in Jerome. So very cool. So yeah, I mean, Justin kind of alluded to, starting out, obviously looking up some of your stats. Like one thing that jumped out is like you had some pretty good success running the football. It may have come in may have come in late game situations, but shoot, man, 7.9 yards a carry for your career over 28 carries, pretty awesome. I do remember you as a running back. But thinking about, obviously the change was a good one. So how did that kind of come about? I assume you played both sides in high school, and you just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, the 7.9 a carry. I'm told that a lot. Trust me, that is in garbage time, and a lot of it's like off a couple runs. So yeah, I'm not that good. I would have stayed, but yeah, I made the transition my junior year. It was right after the COVID season. I was pretty sure like I was going to get a pretty big role in the offense. And then someone came along by the name of Travion Henderson, and he kind of took the limelight off of me. So he came in, he immediately jumped me in the rotation. And then after that spring, Coach Day and Coach Washington, the linebacker coach at the time, came to me and said, this spring, like we're very short on linebackers. We have a pretty stacked running back room. We know that you did have that background playing linebacker back in high school. We also recruit you as a linebacker, so if you can come play linebacker like for us right now and kind of fill that position, like that would be huge for this team, and like we really need you to do it. And of course, I was pretty hard-headed at the time. At first, I didn't want to do it. I wanted to carry the rock for the Ohio State Buckeyes. But talking to them a little bit, talking to my parents, talking to some of my buddies, I realized it would probably be smart, more advantageous for me to probably make the change and be a linebacker.
That's awesome. Yeah. And my favorite memory of you playing, and I'm going to ask you what yours is after this, but my favorite memory of you, the game didn't end up the way we wanted it to finish, but I think you know what I'm going to say is you picked off Stetson Bennett in that Peach Bowl semifinal, and it just felt like all the momentum was going our way. CJ Stroud's out there. Marvin Harrison's having the best game of his life. What was that moment like being a Georgia kid?
Oh, my God, that was awesome. Just leading up to that game, I was so excited because once it got announced on Selection Sunday that we were playing Georgia, I had all my buddies from back home, all my buddies that went to Georgia at the time texted me saying like, hey, give me tickets to the game. And of course I can't do that because they're Georgia fans, but still just the fact that there's so many people like in state that are going to be coming that I know. And then of course, everyone that I made relationships over with Ohio State. It was just a cool little culmination of both worlds coming together. And yeah, that should have been my best memory in all of college football. But obviously we didn't win that game, but had a bunch of my buddies that said they were at the bars. They were screaming whenever I made the pick, and everyone was just mother effing them the entire time, asking why are they rooting for Ohio State. But yeah, even though we lost, that was probably one of my best memories there.
Did you grow up a Georgia fan?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I grew up a Florida State fan. My dad went there.
Okay.
Very nice. Okay. So you mentioned the Urban Meyer connection and then getting to Ohio State, Coach Alford. But I kind of want to know and pick your brain on what it was like playing for Ryan Day. You played most of your career for Ryan Day. And, you know, he's got some criticism from losing the Michigan game several times, got that monkey off his back, but he's also a national championship head coach, which only 4 guys in the sport can even claim to have that honor. So what was it like playing for Coach Day and, you know, just the whole brotherhood that's always talked about at Ohio State?
It was awesome. I mean, at first, I didn't realize like I was in the presence of greatness because it was my first 1 or 2 years of college. Like I have nothing to really base it off of. But after those first couple years, of course, like we had tons of success. I knew that he was a solid coach. But then once I started getting to the rotation of actually playing, I'm in Champions Club. Like I'm going to these, I guess, like leadership meetings with him, and I'm starting to see him as like an actual human being. You just start to realize like how much of like a good guy he actually is, like outside of football. And I think that connection that he's able to have with like the big leaders of his team, then ultimately also those smaller guys at a certain point, that really is what has elevated Ohio State. I think just in the past 5 or so years, just the way he's able to have connections with these players and then just be the fantastic coach that he is.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think like so many people, you know, they only see you guys on Saturdays, you know, noon, 3:30, whatever time, but they don't, a lot of times people don't realize you're people, you go to class. Oh, and I want to get your opinion on that too. With the, I forget which
Mylan Graham
people that went to Notre Dame. Yeah. Mylan Graham. So I want to get your opinion on that in a minute. So I'm going to earmark that for a minute, but yeah, I think a lot of people forget you guys, you know, you're student athletes. You got to go to class. You're training. You got to get in the weight room. You got a bunch of other commitments to do. So I like to hear that, you know, more than just a game thing with Coach Day. But yeah, let's just, you know, we'll ease into that question there. What do you think of Mylan Graham's comment? You know, going to class versus not going to class.
I had a little interview I did like 4 hours ago with a student who's doing a story on like that whole, I guess, argument or whatever you could call it. Sure. But yeah, first of all, Notre Dame, prestigious college. Like I'm not putting them down at all. But to say that you don't have to go to class at Ohio State, I don't know how it is now. I know back in 2019, we had class checkers. Like they made sure you were at every single class on time. Maybe it's changed a little bit, but from my understanding, like we had to go to class. Like, of course, we had a couple online, especially after COVID, but for the most part, like if you had a class in person, you're going. So maybe he was just set up with all online and decided not to go to in person. That's probably his prerogative. But I just, from my experience, I went to class. We had some solid students over there at Ohio State.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. I appreciate the input on that. Because, you know, no problem, Greg and I are both Ohio State alums too. And, you know, we got to defend the education as well there.
Right. So, yeah. My son is going to be applying to Ohio State too. And I'll tell you what, at least from that perspective, it's a hell of a lot harder to get into Ohio State now than it was, you know, back 20 odd years ago when we were applying.
Really? It was harder? Or it was easier?
Like it's harder now. Like back when we both graduated high school in 2000, and it was kind of like Ohio State was kind of like a safety school. It was like, okay, we're definitely getting in there, and then you apply other places. Now they've kind of completely changed the requirements to get in, and now it's really tough to get in. even to the main campus like first year. So like my son who does well in school may or may not get in. He might have to go to a branch campus for a year if he wants to go to Ohio State. But yeah, it's changed. Certainly changed in that regard. But
I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer was able to get in there.
That's right. That's right.
Oh man. Yeah, let's not put ourselves in that company. Well, we don't want to keep you too long, but like I do want Greg and I have a few more questions we definitely want to get to you. So obviously this year the season didn't end the way we wanted it to. However, I look at this season overall as a success in the sense of you go 12-0. You get the Michigan monkey off your back. And I want to specifically ask you about that and your experience versus that team up north and, what it's like playing and being in that rivalry.
Oh, my goodness. I'll say the first year I had no idea what I was really getting into because like all throughout recruiting, they're saying like how we hate Michigan. We don't even say their name. I'm thinking like, oh, okay, it's just another rivalry game. And then once you actually get to that like practice week and you've got the jerseys all over the floor, you've got all the M's crossed out all throughout campus, you realize that this is something different that almost transcends football. And it was just taken to another step once I actually started playing. And just the amount of focus that goes into a practice week, even though it's already at a 10, it's cranked up to an 11 once you get to Michigan. And there's so much bad blood between the two programs, of course, but there's also just a mutual respect that, yeah, we hate each other, but we're also two of the most winningest programs in all of college football history. And that's what makes this so great. So it's just the fact that I was able to participate through, I believe, 4 games. COVID year got canceled. 4 games in that rivalry, sadly went 1-3. But at the same time, I mean, just being able to be a part of that history in such 2 big-time blue blood schools, like that means the world to me.
Canceled is a good way to put it. Some others would put it as the team up north may have dodged the game, but we'll go with canceled.
Yeah.
I have moved on from the stallion stuff and the sanctions and all that stuff. But with that said, did you guys notice anything fishy going on, especially in the 2022 game?
Was that the one at home for us?
Yes, it was. Yep.
Yes, 100%. My roommate Cade. Do you remember the play where I think it was like he ran some type of like delayed corner route and one of their DBs knocked it out of his hands at the last second? It was going to be a touchdown. Basically, they put that play in that week. They had never run it throughout the entire season. And if you look on like one of the angles of the actual play, you can see their sideline like signaling like what play is coming. Even though we had never run that, we never showed it on tape, and they're prepared for it. It was supposed to be a wide open touchdown, but somehow they were ready for it, and they were able to deflect it. I think it was like a 3rd or 4th down, kept us to a field goal, whatever it was, and that was a big turning point in that game. So after seeing that clip, I realized that there might have been something funky.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Like I said, I've moved on from it, but I needed to ask that question.
There's still a bad taste in your mouth, man. It'll always be there.
It is. Greg?
Yeah, I think we'll jump back to kind of we Justin talked about his best memory of yours. I guess what 2-parter. Best memory, whether it's a game or a moment from your time at Ohio State. And also, like, we always like to ask this, what was your favorite road environment to play in? Big Ten or otherwise? Probably Big Ten.
Okay. I'll split this up into 3. I'd say best moment off the field. We were in a slow pitch softball league my last year. We had about, I think, 12 or 13 guys on a slow pitch league. We played in the summer. That was beautiful, fantastic. Loved playing on Friday nights. As far as football-wise, I would probably say the Rose Bowl in 2021, was it?
Yeah.
Whenever we had that shootout with Utah, there was just not a lot of stress on that game because we were out of the playoffs. Like, we were having fun at practice. We were picking blood oranges over on the practice field. It was a tough game. Jackson Smith and Jigba went off, but that was awesome. Probably one of the best game experiences I was ever a part of. And then best environment, I would say it's a tie between Notre Dame night game in 2023 and then oddly Nebraska whenever we played in my junior year. Nebraska was very different because there's no hatred amongst those fans whatsoever. Like they're congratulating you after you win, which I'm not used to that. I'm used to getting cussed out after we win games. But yeah, that was a very cool environment. A lot of deep rooted tradition over there. So I would say either between Nebraska or Notre Dame.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm up here in the Youngstown, Ohio area, and Bo Pelini, who used to coach at Nebraska, is from here, and I've been out to Nebraska a few times, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Those fans, it's a different experience out there. They don't have pro sports. Nebraska football is their daily life, and it's cool. It's cool to hear you to talk on that. All right, before I just have a couple more before we go. So you played with some obviously some great players, but I want your opinion on this year's linebackers and playing that position. And they kind of took Ohio State's known as a really good linebacker school in general, but they took it maybe to the next level that we've never seen before. So your thoughts on Arvell and Sonny and what they did this year?
Yeah, literally just the alien and the predator. I mean, my gosh, just 6'4", 245. Especially comparing that to the last tandem of linebackers, it was me and Tommy. Of course, Tommy's still an animal, but like you compare the two of us physically to those two, like it's night and day. But I mean, outside of football, like Arvell, like he was more of a quiet kid, but that was his freshman year. Still fantastic dude. And then Sonny, like once you take him off the football field, like just as a person, he's literally as good as you're going to get. And I know it's corny, like he's a better person than he is a football player, but that might actually be true for him. But all the physical stuff aside, they're fantastic football players. They both, I think, deserve to be picked in the top 10. Arvell probably 3, Sonny like 5 or 6. But wherever they go, they're just going to up the standards to that program and just going to make the entire community around them just a better place because those are the kind of guys that they are.
That's awesome. It's watching. I mean, I'm not a combine guy. I don't really like get too in deep on that. But watching what Sonny Styles did last week was just incredible. Like they were comparing like his speed to Calvin Johnson and like his vertical leap to Nate Robinson, the NBA dunk champion.
They were just finding random. They had no linebackers to compare him to, so they had to go outside of the sport. They had to go to the freakiest dude of all time to really find comparisons. That just shows you like what he brings to the table. They compared him freaking Calvin Johnson of all people.
Unbelievable. Well, Steele, this has been awesome. Greg, do you have any other final questions before we go?
No, I don't. I mean, no.
We have a ton of questions for you that we're going to and hopefully have you back on again soon. But we don't want to keep you too long. We know you're in camp right now, so again, tell the people where you're at, what you're doing, and how they can follow you.
Yeah, Steele Chambers currently in Arlington, playing in the UFL this year. Found a cat a couple days ago in the streets. I adopted him. He's currently at a cat hotel, so that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Co-host of the Bobby Carpenter Show. Can watch, follow whatever on Twitter, Instagram, wherever. And then I guess my Instagram, Steele Chambers 22 or something. If you want to check it out, check it out. That's me.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Well, we appreciate the time, especially 10 o'clock on 9 o'clock where you're at. But, we appreciate you taking time out of camp. And when's the season kick off?
March 27th.
March 27th. All right. Very good. Very good. So we'll be looking for you out there. So Steele Chambers, hope to have you back on again, and we'll pick your brain on some other topics.
Love it, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Now we'll be in touch.
Love it. See you guys.
Thanks, Steele.
See you.
All right. So thank you to Steele Chambers for joining us. That was cool. It's always
that was a lot of fun.
Cool to hear a Buckeye and hear their experiences and stuff. And like we said, we kind of kept it surface level, but hopefully we'll get him back on soon and dive deep into some more questions we have. So